My name's Sandy Adams, and I'm here with a bunch of very brave women who have been marching for the children today. Children who have been forgotten really by our government, who have been taken away from their schools, from their peer groups, and forced onto online learning by the government. This has created an enormous mental health problem within children of all ages. The younger ones, if they're allowed to go to school, are in classrooms that are freezing cold because the teachers open all the windows and doors. Those are the ones from key workers. And the older children, and in fact all the children, are suffering from not being around their peers. Now, the loss of peer group support is creating a real problem, because this is how children and teenagers develop, by interaction with their peers. This is what's happening to our youngsters, is they're not getting that stimulation and that approval from their peer groups, and being able to have a idea of self-concept, to be able to relate to one another. They're also suffering great anxiety about their futures, their education. The teenagers' education has been ruined. Most of the children's, even the smaller ones, are not getting the education they need. And the fact is that parents are incredibly stressed out, as are teachers. This has to stop. The schools should reopen, and our government need to address the inconsistency and the disproportionate effect that this lockdown is having on our children. Our children need to feel safe and happy, and they're not. They are in homes, and some of them are in homes that aren't safe. They might be encountering abuse, whether it's physical, emotional abuse at home. They might be in homes and households where there's substance abuse, alcohol abuse, all sorts of stuff. This is not being addressed. These children are in danger. They're not getting the physical exercise they need. A lot of the teenagers are literally staying in their rooms all day playing PlayStations. And try arguing with a 6-foot teenager. You can't force them out for a walk. You can't force them to get out off the PlayStation. You can't force them to go into their Google Classrooms or whatever platform they're on. Now, a lot of the teachers are having terrible problems trying to hold this all together. On a personal level, my daughter-in-law is a teacher, and she's under huge stress. Also, the classrooms, the online classrooms she's had, I've found 2 occasions where they've been hacked into by hackers who have destroyed the classroom, and that is cyber abuse, and that's happened. Quite honestly, this force to get children learning online has a deeper, darker relevance here. And it's to force children onto machine-driven learning for data harvesting. When the economy crashes, which it will, and it's going to crash very soon. We're sitting in a shopping centre full of empty shops. This has been a year now. Our economy will crash, and the World Economic Forum have said, great, we want the economy to crash. GDP is a thing of the past. What they're going to do is force everybody onto online everything, working, everything. But the children are the ones, they really are the ones that we need to think about, because they're being forced onto online learning in order to become commodities. Because when they crash this economy, the World Economic Forum and the United Nations have a whole new economy waiting in the wings, and it's called data surveillance. And the children will be data harvested from cradle to grave as they work their way through the education system. It's a pay-for-success scheme. They will get rewarded provided they are funneled into the kind of learning that will fit them into the military-industrial complex that they have planned, which is all about AI. And these children, as they work through their curriculum, when they actually achieve their goals, they will be a token is generated on the blockchain, and the impact investors get their rewards. And you'll be wondering, maybe, who is putting all this software into the schools? It's the banks. I mean, Goldman Sachs now are putting software into for our education system. They're bankers. Why would they be doing that if they weren't trading our children like commodities? And that is exactly what they're doing. These children are literally going to be surveilled from the moment they're born until they fit in, and their outcomes, it's actually outcomes, their outcomes are traded on the stock market. This is unbelievable. This is awful. Trading our children's souls on the stock market and on the blockchain. We have to be aware of this. I would ask every parent to look at this really closely. There's a wonderful woman in the States called Alison McDowell who's done a lot of work into the impact investors and how this is working. And she has got a blog called Wrench in the Gears. Wrench, WRENCH, in the Gears, GEARS.com. And she will be able to explain far better about the impact investing and what they've got planned for our children, because it's an AI nightmare. And all children will be isolated. They'll get rid of bricks and mortar schools. They're going to get rid of all these shops. There'll be nothing. Everything online. And nobody will have any way of free enterprise or any kind of way of not being in their system. And if you don't comply to this system, you will lose access to travel, access to money, access to, with the cashless society coming in, access to be able to have your freedoms and to be able to live a life normally. You will have to conform to it's like the Chinese social credit system. And you will be denied benefits if you don't conform to this system. And it's all really to do with our devices and QR codes. And I'm just, we've had police follow us today. There is no freedom of speech in this country anymore, and I would imagine globally at the moment. If we don't rise up and say enough's enough, stop this nonsense, open your shops up, we are consenting to this horrendous agenda. Please, just say no. These are guidelines. There are no laws. They are guidelines. And we just need to see through the illusion and stop conforming to this, stop consenting to this ridiculous takeover of our rights and freedoms. I think that's all I've got to say, because we're so cold.
Yes.
The police did come and stare at us. We broke up and we've had to do the interview here. But we've had a brilliant day. Women marching for children's freedom. And we will continue to do this. It's not going to be the end of this. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Sandy.